the basic Jung's at least basic idea, and different psychologists or different personality theories, I guess I should say, um, sort of take this in a different direction. I'm with Jung on this, but the idea is that extroverts, because we're talking about psychology, and psychologies have this weird sort of drift, I think, in the last 50 years where we're almost mostly studying sociology these days, more so than psychology, like kind of what's going on in people's heads, and how that's operating, and all the things that is what I think psychology is about. And so the idea of the introvert or the extrovert isn't about how people are interacting or what they're doing, right? Again, that's almost that like social psych or almost sociology. How are you interacting with others? Um, the idea of introvert extrovert is what is your mental state? Where's your mental state focused? And so for the extrovert, it's going to be focused on the outside world. And this is a thing that I think most people can notice about themselves, is that they have these two places they can sort of be. One is focused on the outside world and thinking about things and thinking about the people around you or interacting with those things, etc., observing those things. And then the other place is kind of just in your head, like solving a problem or wondering how you feel about a certain thing. That's, you could be almost anywhere and do those kind of introverted things. And so the real difference between the introvert and the extrovert is just which of those do you do more, understanding that everybody, unless there's something profoundly unique about you, everybody can do both of those. Everybody does both of those, right? And the difference between the introvert and extrovert is just which one do you do more. This is why I mean, I think it's fine. Like, I don't hate it or anything, but for me, this is why I don't really buy into the idea of the ambivert. It's because everybody's ambiverting. Everybody's sort of can do both and is going back and forth. But the idea of the introvert extrovert is just kind of which one predominates. Which one, if I just came upon you, 100 random times, are you more likely to be doing in those instances? And the extroverts are going to be more likely to sort of be dealing with the world around them, and introverts are going to be more likely to sort of be dealing with the world within them. Um, so I think the misunderstanding is sort of a drift of that idea and a drift of what may come with my definition or Jung's definition of introvert extrovert, which is that if you're more likely to be focused on the outside world, if you're more likely to be focused on people and things, well, then you're going to be drawn to do things with people and do things with things and to want to fix or change or interact with or understand. And so, yeah, you're going to be more likely to go to a party, which is often the sort of stereotypical question around that, because there's things and people there and you can have conversations and all of this stuff. Uh, and if you're an introvert, you might love going to parties, but you will also be aware that because that's sort of not where your psychology resolves, that if just left to your own devices, you kind of go inward. That if I say come to this party, well, you have to do a little work. It might not be a whole lot for other people, it might be a lot, but you have to do a little work to now press yourself outward and sort of be in the realm of people and things, be in this extroverted realm. By that same token, if I take an extrovert and I say, let's go meditate, or I say, I want you to sit down and write 2 pages on your emotional state at this moment, like that's going to be a thing that's going to be more daunting to them. They can do it, but they're going to have to, again, sort of take that extroverted psychology and say, well, now I need to do a little work to turn it inward. And that's going to be a little harder. It's going to make them tired eventually if they have to do it for a long time. And so there is some truth to that idea of gaining energy in one place or the other. But often the way I see it stated is that it's about being alone versus being with people. And an introvert that is comfortable with you can introvert right in front of you. Like, they're zoned out, they're doing their own thing, they're reading a book, they're writing something down, or whatever it is. It's if you're the type of person, or certainly if you're the type of extrovert that's always like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, like that's going to drain them. But it's not necessarily your presence or your lack of presence. The same token, you could be an extrovert who wants to be alone and is designing something, or even just watching television, or working on something. Those are all kind of extroverted things, and you don't have to have people around, but you might like it, you might not. So I just try to get to that kind of central psychological piece. Where is your psychology going? Where is your mental focus going to resolve if I just let you do whatever you want? Where does it want to be? And there are some correlations, there are some things that come along with that, but those things aren't the definitive piece for me. The definitive piece is that, what's your psychology up to?